Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show here on this Good Friday edition of the show. Because over here, it's a bank holiday. It's a public holiday over here. So we've had a nice day off for most people. While in America, it's like a normal day for you guys, isn't it? So, but you can't complain. I'm sure you guys have a great Easter as well. It's Easter weekend coming up for you guys. But please welcome to the show. Live in a different country through technology here today. It is BYB fighter Jessica Link. Welcome
Hi.
to the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again for accepting to come on the show at short notice, because I didn't know we were going to do this until maybe a day ago or 2 days ago. So thank you for the thank you for being on short notice. So it's great to see you.
For sure. No, definitely. I have no life, so I can do short notice stuff. It's fine.
Well, I know you're quite a busy person though, because you're always training, you're always preparing for a future opponent whenever one may, come to you and reach out to you and whatnot. So you have to be on the go all the time, don't you? Really?
Yeah. I'm in the gym a lot. That's pretty much that. Actually, is all I do. I don't work a ton, but when I do work, it's in the gym. So I'm there working, and when I'm working, like this morning, I run the kickboxing program, but when I'm in fight camp, I get to kind of double dip a little bit. So instead of just instructing, today I was like, hey, it's a cardio day, and I get an extra workout in.
That's good. That's good. And you had an up and down so far career, haven't you, in the BYB and whatnot? So hopefully things start to go in your luck, because you did win your last fight. So yeah, kudos for that. And what can we expect from you in 23?
So my last couple fights with BYB were pretty short notice, and they were in a higher weight class. The last one was a little bit better matched. She and I are roughly the same size, but she's still in a higher weight class than I am. And the one prior to that is typically in a much higher weight class than I am. So moving forward, we're definitely being a little bit more careful with the selection as far as that goes, because even though in my mind I'm like, no, it's fine. We'll take the fight. At the end of the day, even though I forced them to the distance, we had great fights, especially with Monica Medina. We had a fantastic fight. We both still think we got fight of the night on that one. It's still not in my best interest to take those fights at heavier weight classes, because different body composition does make a big difference. I'm tall, but I'm not near as big as some of these girls, so we're really going to make sure I'm staying in my weight class so we can be more competitive. So I think that's definitely something you can look forward to on my next few fights, is more competitive fights, because I'm going to be in my weight class.
Exactly.
I've not yet fought in my weight class for BYB, so I'm very excited to do that.
No, exactly, and I couldn't agree more with you, because it makes more sense to accept fights in your weight class to similar weights and similar heights as well. It helps you out, so you have a better contest, doesn't it? So I can't wait to see that happen in BYB for you.
Yes, I'm very excited, and my upcoming opponent, on the surface, it looks like we're honestly about the exact same size. She's just a little shorter than me, but we both compete in the same weight class, so we're kind of built in a similar fashion. So I think that'll make it really fun.
Exactly, and that comes to this nicely, if I got the right page up, because you announced this the other week, and we're going to show it here. Great announcement there, that you posted on your Instagram a few weeks ago, that of course BYB will be going to California, later this month on April the 27th. What can we expect from you then, particularly, because I know you're going to be there for the inaugural event in California? What does this mean for you and for BYB? Mentally and personally, a big milestone for them, I guess, as well.
Right. I think this is going to be great for the promotion, especially because there are some states that haven't sanctioned bare knuckle. California is one of them. But for them to get their foot in the door, introduce themselves, show them what kind of crowd BYB can bring, that can really foster a lot of growth for the company. which in turn brings in more fighters, which gives us more opportunities, which brings in more revenue. It's a win for everybody. I really think we're going to put on a great show. And I think California is going to see, it's a professional environment. The idea of bare knuckle kind of turns some people off. They think it's rowdy, not professional. But BYB is super professional, and I think California is going to see that. And then hopefully moving forward, when they welcome us back, we'll be able to take the gloves off.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and it's a great opportunity, and we can't wait to see what you who you be doing in on April the 27th. We can't wait to see that announcement of whoever sets up to face you on that date. It's going to be amazing, and I know you're looking for sponsors still. How is that going for you as well?
So it's going great. I actually just left one of my sponsors today locally. I work with Supplement World here in Wichita. They're throughout the Midwest. I just got a new sponsor yesterday. Got some new tires on the Jeep, from the tire shop, also locally. I'm definitely, I love supporting local.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm open to talk to anybody. So that's really cool. Back to your previous statement. So my opponent is already announced. And I feel really bad because I cannot, for the life of me, pronounce her name very well, and I feel really bad about that. Zero disrespect to her.
No.
Her name's Nadine, and I don't know. Her name's Nadine. It's Mando. I don't know. I feel really bad about that. I'm gonna send you. I'll send it right now on Instagram to you.
Okay.
The flyer.
Yeah. And I will.
She just recently fought for BYB in bare knuckle. It was her first bare knuckle fight against Randine Ekholm was her opponent. Let me find you on here, and I will send that to you right now.
Yeah, and then we will share that as well on this show to hype it up. But I did see that, and it was an incredible debut for her as well. So
that was great. I think it was a great fight for both of them for sure. There we go. I sent that to you.
Fantastic, and I would just thank you very much. I'll just let me do that, save, and then do that. Do bear with me. So while I'm doing all that, have you prepared? I guess you are preparing for the fight because it's in a few weeks' time, and have you found much ways to see some weaknesses in there and whatnot, and try preparing maybe differently from compared to your other fights you've had in the past? How has training been? And we can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, training's been going great. I recently, not super recently, within about last 7-8 months, I started working with a new coach, and we're just really on the same wavelength. We kind of have the same thought processes about things. And I've really had to learn about not just learning style, but coaching style. And even though someone might be a really great coach, they might not be a great coach for me. And so, I'm really excited to continue working with the new coach that I have here in Wichita out of Valor Martial Arts. I'm working with Mr. Charles Ellis, and I'm very excited to continue working with him. And the way he breaks down fights and can look at fighters, whether he's looking at me and my past fights, whether he's looking at upcoming opponents, just really looking at patterns and overall styles. It's really helping to develop this fight camp, just kind of looking at, what we have to work with for myself. And that's been the biggest thing we're focusing on. Not so much what does my opponent do. He's been focusing on what do I do? What can I improve on my patterns? What can I change? We've done a lot of work because I didn't start out boxing. I still say I'm not a boxer. I came from like a kickboxing, Muay Thai background. I've done some MMA stuff. I've done some grappling, but they're two very different sports.
Yes.
So I'm still learning how to box, from a boxing coach. And so we're, every day we're just working on just getting my fundamentals down, to where it's just second nature, where it's habit.
No, I agree with that. And as you mentioned as well, that they're two different sports. They very are different sports. And when you first decided to come into this sport, was it quite difficult at first to get used to it, or did you kind of get used to it straight away, or did it come second nature to you?
Yeah, so there were some aspects that were easy, like the clinch work. I Muay Thai kickboxing. My original coach, I've been with him for about 7 years. He's a Muay Thai coach, so clinch is something that I'm very familiar with and very comfortable with. But for my first couple of fights, I felt like, I've got all these tools in my toolbox, but I'm not allowed to use half of them. I couldn't use knees and kicks. I wasn't allowed to use those. So I felt like instead of, using hands as that's just what I've got, I felt like something was missing. Like where I would normally have this 5 strike combo and half of it was kicks. Now I'm like, oh no, what do I put in this missing part here that, because I can't do that now.
Yeah.
So that's starting to adjust better. I'm starting to be way more comfortable with just boxing. Half the time, even though I'm a kickboxing instructor, I'm not doing the kicking stuff, or we do focus a lot on hands. I'm trying to really focus on not relying on my legs to make space and things like that. It's really been an adventure, and I love it. I love the difference, but it's a huge difference. And so I'm definitely still learning, and I'm just excited that BYB has given me a platform to keep doing that on.
No, absolutely, and they are one of the next big thing to come to into the mainstream. There's no question about that, and it's only a matter of time where more people get eyes on it and hopefully elevate it to the next level, including yourself helping to bring BYB into the mainstream. And thank you for you. We've now got that picture now of the match card for April the 27th. Apologies for that. As you can see there, Nadine, and again, I don't know how you pronounce her second name. I'm not going to attempt it like you did. No offense. No offense.
I feel so bad.
But it's going to be a great fight anyway. Whoever wins. But I wish you both the best of luck. They make the best lady win as well. And it's a great poster, great flyer, good graphics. But you got to be in Cali to come and watch that at the Costa Mesa. I tell you how you pronounce it, on April the 27th this year. And who are some of your other dream opponents you would love to, get in the cage with and whatnot, to the triangle, to hang with?
There's no one in particular that I'm like, oh, I gotta fight them, or I have to fight them. I don't really care. My manager kind of has to reel me in sometimes, because I have no problem when a fight is offered to me just saying, yeah, okay. But I went pro pretty quick. I'd only had 8 amateur fights before I went pro. And amateur level is where you can say yes to every single fight, because it's good to get all that experience before it counts. You get all these different looks, and with 8 fights, I had quite a bit of variety, but maybe not as much as I should have. So I'm still kind of in that mindset of, oh, I've not fought someone like that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So my manager kind of has to be like, hey, this matters now. This counts now. So we need to be a little bit more selective. And I'm like, okay. But I really don't have a preference. If they offer me a fight, Mel already knows, if they offer me something, I'm probably going to take it, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously, obviously, I'm not going to take, if someone's like 8-0, it's got to make sense.
It got to make sense because you got to build towards facing someone at that stature as well, don't you? You got to get some momentum building behind you, isn't it, really? And it's starting to come, so you just got to continue with that now to into the next few fights. And as you say now, as you said before about fighting people to your weight class as well, which will make it even better for you.
Right. And honestly, the 2 times I did fight in my weight class with a different promotion, one loss was a split decision. The win was a unanimous decision. Yes. And so I know when I'm put with people my size, I'm going to be more competitive. Every loss I've had has been a decision. Unfortunately, with BYB, it's been with opponents that maybe weren't the best match. Monica honestly was a great match for me. That was a very competitive fight. Prior to that, I think I fought up a little bit too far. So being mindful of how we select my opponents, not so much on skill level per se, but just making sure it's someone who isn't, gonna outsize me
Yeah.
by the time we get into the ring by 20 pounds. That was just not a good look.
No.
But when I am in my weight class, I'm much more competitive. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to be much better, not just for you guys, but also for the fans who came to tune in
Oh,
to see
absolutely.
you as well, because they might feel a bit disappointed that you're not facing someone closer to your, to your weight class or
Right.
height, etc., or even the fighting, distance as well. So that will help them to cheer you on a bit more as well this time around, and
Right.
in the promotion you may do business with. But I mean, as you mentioned, well, you've done some kickboxing in your career, you've done some MMA as well.
Ugh.
No,
Ugh.
I don't know if you still watch MMA or maybe interested going back into that field in the future, maybe if you don't want, if you decide to do so. Or
You know, I it's something I want to be good at, but
it just takes practice.
Grappling has never fully clicked with me. Like, I understand it, I can see it, I can
Yeah.
instruct people, I can see what's right, what's wrong, but when it comes to doing it, like, I'm just clumsy, I'm not strong in some positions. Like, it's just not something that works well for me. I definitely want to keep training jujitsu. I want to keep grappling. I do enjoy doing it. I love the community. I like doing the tournaments, but MMA is just not a sport that it just hasn't worked for me. As an amateur, I went 2-3. I mean, that's not terrible. It's just not something that I've never loved it. And I never felt like I was just ever ready.
Yeah.
Anytime I competed, I just never felt ready. Um, with the bare knuckle, it's so different. I love it. I absolutely love the sport. And with MMA, I've never had that. Um, the only two professional MMA fights I've taken, they weren't taken. One was it was an amazing opportunity. It was on Jorge Masvidal's Game Bread card. It was a bare knuckle MMA fight, and the idea of that was super exciting. It was new. Not many women had ever done it, and so I was very excited to get involved with that. And then just my standard regular MMA fight that I've done, I turned it down multiple times. I knew going in how much higher level my opponent was, but it was a good opportunity again. And even though we knew the matchup wasn't the greatest, we took that as an opportunity simply because my goal isn't to be a high level MMA fighter. I'm not trying to make a career out of MMA. So if the occasional good opportunity presents itself, I'm not opposed to looking at it, but my goal is not to be an MMA fighter. I know what my strengths are, and this is not one of them.
No, that's totally understandable. And as you say, with the bare knuckle world, as you said, there weren't many women around, and there's still not probably enough women around at the moment. Right. And with you and all the other great fighters representing women are inspiring more women to, hey, maybe I should give that a go and see if it works out for me.
Yes,
it means you guys are inspiring the next generation of women, and hopefully for years to come there'll be more women in the sport.
I hope so. Like, come join us. It's fun. I promise.
But I mean, I guess many people who may be watching this who maybe never heard of Bare Knuckle World or even heard of you before until today might think, well, why did you get involved in the whole fighting world? You could have stayed as a kickboxing coach / instructor instead of actually getting involved physically. So what made you to get inside of it and be a part of it?
So I started out with no intention of coaching or anything. Like, it was just something I was doing in the gym, and I started like competing, and I started doing the kickboxing, took some MMA fights, and my manager called me. We were considering looking at going pro around the time I did, not so much because we thought, oh, you're beating everybody up, it's time to go pro. Like, it was more so I started late. I didn't step foot into the gym until I was about 26.
Okay.
So I started late. I didn't start as a kid or a teenager like a lot of these women have. I haven't been doing this half my life like a lot of these women have. So once I hit let's see, I was 32 when I took my first pro fight. And that's why we did it. I talked to my coach, talked to my manager. and we just kind of were looking at the statistics. If I waited too much longer, people weren't necessarily going to want to match me for fights because of my age. It's a little more flexible with the women because there aren't as many of us, but that was just kind of a calculated decision based on the fact that, hey, you've been training for about 5 years, you're already in your 30s, if you want to do it, let's start doing it.
Yeah.
And so we were looking for a kickboxing fight, and we had a bare knuckle promotion coming to our city locally for the first time. And he called me, my boyfriend, he does bare knuckle, and he was on the card. We have the same manager. My manager calls me, he goes, hey, do you want to do bare knuckle? And I was like, sure, okay, why not? Let's try it. And my coach was in the corner after the very first round of my very first bare knuckle fight, and he had to tell me, he was like, shut up and sit down, because after the first round I was like, holy cow, I love it, this is so much fun. I was like, great, shut up and sit down.
That's a great story. I love that story. I think during that, I could be wrong. I did hear a vibration of a phone go. So was that your side? 'Cause if it was,
oh yeah.
If you do have to take the phone call, then feel free to.
I do not have to take a phone call. It's spam.
Oh right, okay. I was looking up. I was going to say, if it was important, then I don't want you to reject it because you're talking to me. Because I feel like that might be an opportunity missed there, but at least it's not an important phone call. But no, what a great story that is, and I'm glad that you guys are represented by the same manager as well, which is even better. So like in a family type thing, which is quite cool. What do you make of? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just to say, in our manager, it's not even a management company. He's worked for the state athletic commission where we live. He's owned a gym. He runs fight promotions. Like, he's just involved in the fight world, and he just has taken an interest in just helping us.
Yeah.
He really wants to see us succeed, and so it's not like we're not dealing with this big management company with contracts and agreements and stuff. He's just helping us make sure we get good fights, we're making smart decisions, and we're getting paid. That's all he cares about. And I wish every single fighter out there had what we had.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it is, because sometimes you get other people, taking cuts and, booking fighters in the wrong type of fights, or not best in their interest as well. Not saying that's in the BYB, but just generally talking in boxing and MMA and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So, but at least you have somebody who's got your interests at the heart of what you guys are wanting to achieve as well, and also listens to what you guys want as well in return. So It works all the ways. And many promoters and many people out there don't always have that good intention, do they? Which is quite disappointing, I have to say.
It really is. Like when I got my multi-fight deal with BYB, he had some different concerns, nothing serious, but he was like, hey, ABC, we need to look at this. And, we talked back and forth. And finally I was like, hey, this is a good opportunity for me. And he goes, you know what? If you want to sign it, I support you, sign it. And so, it's his job. He's going to tell me what he's concerned about. And if those concerns, are something I need to look into, we'll look into it. But at the end of the day, he tells me, just do whatever you want to do. I'm just here to make sure you make good decisions.
Yeah, and as well to help you to make yourself look great as well in front of the fans and the whole place to root your name as well, and to make you look like a billion bucks, as I said, don't they?
Yes.
I got to say hello to Don. Apparently he's done a waving emoji. So Don, who helped with this, is also watching as well. So nice to see that. Of course, BYB came to London last October, and they had the legendary, of course, who works a few shows every now and then as well, Mike Goldberg, even coming in for that. And what does he bring, to the BYB? When it was announced when he first joined the BYB, what was like? That a legendary voice like Mike Goldberg coming in to help elevate the brand and to elevate the fighters as well.
I think it's great for the promotion. I try and be like the cool kid, to where I'm like, oh, Hey, hi, Mike. Like, I try and be super cool because, I some of these people who have been doing this for a long time or they
Mm.
have that notoriety. I don't want to bother people. So, I might be on the sideline going like, oh my gosh, did you see who it is? Holy cow. But then when he walks by, I'm just like, hey, so I try and be super like easy to work with,
Yeah.
easy to deal with, but it really is super exciting having some of the names involved. Someone like him, like he's done it all, seen it all, and that's really awesome that if someone like that who has been around this for so long sees the value in the company, then there's obviously value there. And I
Yeah.
think the way the company is trying to grow, making it natural, building up their own fighters, and slow steady growth, I think over time a lot of people are going to see how great BYB is.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that because I agree with you 100%ly. And as well, you got Mike Goldberg, even had a big Mo as well, who's making it big over here in England now with Boxer and with all these other great promotion he works for. And, it's just like those people are helping to bring attention to
Right.
BYB and to the fighters to hopefully bring new fans
Yes.
in and get new fans to enjoy the product and enjoy the fighters they're seeing as well, which is great to see. And we can't wait to see it grow in 2023. Now, I do know that they're coming back over here later
Yeah.
this year. The question is, will you be there?
So, okay, I don't even know if I've talked about this with the promotion. I don't have a passport. I printed out the paperwork to apply for one, and the paperwork has been sitting on my desk for over a year.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, so I am more than happy to actually send that in,
Yeah.
but until I get a passport, I'm stuck here. That's not something we've discussed. I'm more than happy to travel. I like this month alone, I'm traveling all over the place. I love traveling, especially when it's paid travel and I'm
Yeah.
getting to go fight. But no, I would love to come over there and get involved with just the expansion. Some of the fight cards they've had overseas have been great, and I'm
Mm.
more than happy to get involved in that.
No, it'd be great to see you over here in England, and not just England, but over Europe as well, to be a part of some great events. And so you need to get that passport sent in.
Yes, yes.
But I know what you're thinking. Though you're waiting until they reach out to you and to get something in place, and then do it. Because that makes more sense. Because
Yep.
you're
And
probably
then it would
thinking
probably
at the
be too
moment,
late.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
But I mean, as well, you
I
probably think that there's no need to need a passport. You probably don't want to go anywhere apart from America or whatnot. But you're probably thinking now, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, like and I know in the back of my head, I know I'm like, I need to do it now because
Yeah.
that way I'm prepared when the opportunity comes up instead of scrambling later. But I am a huge procrastinator because I still manage to get everything done. So procrastinating has worked for me, and I've yet to have that be an issue. So I'm really bad about doing things last minute.
Fair enough, fair enough. But as long as it comes through in the end, that's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing. That's all
Exactly.
we care about. These last minute things. But it would be great to see you over here, and hopefully BYB may have an opportunity, or for the joint promotion who they work with also may have an opportunity for you to come over to England at a separate date as well. So that'd be quite cool to see either way. But of course, you've got you live in a great place with a lot of connections in the mid area. When you go out and about as well, do you get a lot of people saying, "Hey, there's you. How are you doing?" type thing when you go out and about, or are you able just to go about your own daily business, or are people scared a little bit of you?
No, so sometimes people will come up and say hi to me. It doesn't happen real often. So the city I live in, it's a big city, but it's not a big city. I think our population is like 300,000. So
Okay.
it's a city, but it's not massive. And our fight community here is pretty tight knit, pretty close. We all know each other. We all kind of cross train with each other. So if you're involved in the fight community, whether it's as a fan, as a fighter, if you're part of the athletic commission, we all know each other anyway. So it's not really, you go out and about and you're like, oh gosh, that's so and so. Because if they know who I am, it's because we've probably already met before, or they've seen me fight over and over again
Yeah.
already because they're a local fight fan.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the best part is when I travel. When I travel, I go to different states. I try and find different gyms to pop into and work out. Most people are really welcoming. That's when it's really cool when people are like, "Oh, hey, I've seen you fight before." I'm like, "Oh, cool. That's really neat."
Yeah, yeah, it is. And it's like finding new fans you probably didn't think you had until you go to that actual city and find out you actually do as well, and it's great to see.
Right, absolutely.
Um, so of course, you've not got a passport, so you've not been over here yet. Is there any other country you would love to come? Maybe not just fighting, but also just to have a, just to visit as well. Kind of thing, just on your spare time.
I want to go see the rainforest. Like
Yeah.
I want to go to the rainforest. I want to go like South America or something. I want to go see the rainforest. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I don't blame you there. Before it gets all big, because I know they have a lot of trees getting cut down there as well.
I know.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you better go see it before it's all completely different compared to how it used to be.
Yeah.
Because it'd be millions of years before they grow back. Because I don't think we'd be alive when they are back to how they were before they cut them down. Um,
Yeah.
as well, when you are at the show and getting ready for your fight, how do you get in the fighting mode? Do you have music? How do you kind of prepare them when you're at the show?
So my methods have not always been popular with coaches in the past. The way I kind of focus on the fight is, I'll warm up like I need to warm up.
Yeah.
I'll work with my coach. I'll do whatever we need to do physically, but mentally, I would rather talk about anything other than the fight. Because, when I hyper focus on it, I start thinking, oh, what if this? What if this? And then I get a little anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Fighters, all over the world will tell you it doesn't matter how many times they've fought, there's an anxiety level right before they go fight. And for me, I don't like that. So I'll be talking about going to the grocery store or, I focus on anything but the fight. I might be, cracking jokes with one of my coaches, and they know at this point that it's not because I'm not focused and not being serious. It's because that's how I'm just kind of keeping myself, calm and chill, and I'm not getting too worked up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and it's like you don't over worry and then thinking about getting complimented. Like what, as you say, what if they get the upper on me, or if they prepare better than I have, type thing. So yeah, but no, so as well when you're not on the road and when you're not training or coaching or whatever, how do you kind of relax then as well?
Um, I don't know what that's like. I coach. Let's see, 3, 4. I coach 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Which at the end of the day, working 5 hours a week really is not much. But 5 days a week, I'm coaching to some degree, whether it's with the kids or the adult program. I Outside of that, I like to tell my other half I'm a lizard. I like to just lay out in the sun. I'll go lay out by the pool. I like to be lazy because I don't often get to just be lazy.
Yeah.
So if I have the opportunity, I'm just going to be lazy. Even if I'm on, vacation or a break, I'm still working out every day, at least once a day. We went down to Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
We're working out 2 times a day still. Just it's not something I can stop. I don't feel good unless I have a workout in for the day. Even my rest day, I still have, just a low intensity workout. So that's really, I guess that might be how I relax. I go to the gym. But no, I hang out with my dogs. That's about it. I like to lay out in the sun, get some sunshine, hang out with my dogs. I've got like a zoo at my house. I have dogs, cats, chickens.
Oh, wow. Got a whole variety.
Yeah.
What type of dogs do you have, by the way?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I have a Great Pyrenees.
Okay.
I have a Shar Pei, a German Shepherd, and an English Bulldog.
Oh, nice. I like that. Say the best one to last, the English Bulldog.
he's he's my buddy. He smells. He's annoying. He's my buddy though. They're all older. They're all quite a bit older. They're in their senior years, a couple more so than others. I've got two that are getting pretty old, but
Okay.
I've had them for a long time. They're my sidekicks.
No, they are quite good company. Sometimes they can be annoying, as you say, but sometimes they can be greedy, can't they, as well, dogs? So,
Oh my gosh.
which one would
Yep.
you say out of your pack is the greediest?
My German Shepherd is the worst. He's very, very high anxiety. I've been told a few times it's because I myself am high anxiety,
Oh,
so
right.
he kind of takes after me a little bit, but he's awful. Like he requires so much attention. Some days I just want to like just throw him outside and just go. If you come back, great, just go. But he's like 11. I've been dealing with it forever, so he's not going anywhere.
No, no, just it's part of it. I guess he's kind of must have picked up on it from your characterization as well, 'cause, like from your senses as well. I guess.
Yeah, probably. German Shepherds, from what I found after having him for a while, they're high anxiety dogs anyway.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, so he's just like me, and so some days we don't get along.
It's a perfect match, though, right? It's very,
Yes,
very good small world. That.
unfortunately, it's a perfect match.
Yes, unfortunately, indeed, that's a good word there. Let's let's also discuss about as well, because is there anybody who you when you first got into the the bare knuckle world, was there anybody who you looked up to or inspired to be just like somebody else you may have saw as you were breaking in?
So one of my favorite women to watch is Christine Faria. She is she's just a monster.
Yeah.
I've talked to her personally a few times. You know, I don't want to say I strive to be on that level because at this point, like I said, I started late. I strive to do my best every single time. What that looks like, we'll know when we get there.
Exactly.
That's my goal. I'm not out here saying I'm going to take your belt. I'm going to take your belt. I'm going to the top. I just want to go out. I want to do my best. I want to put on a good show. But as far as the behind the scenes stuff, I see that woman's work ethic and her drive, and I'm just like, holy cow, that's where I want to be. Not so much in the, because she's a title holder. She's
Yeah.
got a belt. She is just unstoppable when she fights. More so the behind the scenes aspect. I see the grind and the work ethic, and I'm like that I can do. I want to be the hardest worker in the room every time. And so far, that's I've been trying to be that. I am the first one at the gym when I meet my coach. I am the last one to leave. I am trying to outwork everybody every day, and that's that she partly inspired that in me, but also I feel like I have something to prove to myself, being as I did start later. I was pretty heavy set when I started. I was overweight. I'm a little bit older than everyone that goes to the gym with me as far as the competitors go. And I've had some pretty serious injuries. So working through all of that and still, notably being like, oh, hey, she's out working everyone today. That's my goal. And I push myself to get there.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. But I got to say though, it's also inspiring, for other women as well who might start maybe thinking maybe I have to get it now, and you coming back from injuries,
Right.
just showing that you got the grit, you got the desire to continue
Right.
doing this despite you being injured. It might take a bit longer to come back. If you were a bit younger, it might come back a bit faster type thing, but you still came back and you're still doing this. So it
Right.
just shows you
Uh,
that any age you can do it, can't
yes,
it?
absolutely. So this sport, even though it's hard on the body in some
Mm.
aspects, honestly, prepping for a bare knuckle fight, it just is so easier on the body than prepping for an MMA fight. MMA fighting, like, oh, it's rough. I feel it. Like, I feel it in every joint every time I get off the mats. And I don't like that feeling because it's not I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I've worked hard feeling. It's a feeling of, oh, this hurts.
Yeah.
And it's not that good hurt. But no, I hope so. I hope people can look at me, especially younger kids. There's a few younger girls I work with. I have one of my fighters. She's an 11-year-old little girl, and holy cow, she's way cooler than I'm ever going to be. She learns faster than I've ever learned stuff. And so that's my goal is, that these kids, these girls, these young women can look up to someone and be like, oh, hey, I can do that. And whether it's fighting or not, it just showing them you can do hard things. And whatever that thing is, I want people to realize you can do the hard things.
Yeah.
It might not be easy, but you can do it. And
Yeah.
that's kind of my goal at the end of the day.
No, good goal to have. Good goal, and I hope you get to achieve that as well, either this year or in the future as well, achieving that all the time. But I mean, is there anybody you would love to see maybe cross over to the bare knuckle world? You may think, I think they do pretty well over here in the bare knuckle world, or maybe not.
Um, I there's one person in particular, and he already said no, no, no. So it's actually one of my teammates here locally. So it's not anyone, not a big, huge name.
Okay.
But it's one of my teammates here locally. We started training together at about the same time. He's already gone pro. I think he's 2-0 as a pro kickboxer.
Oh, nice.
So he went pro about a year after I did, and I think he would be great at the sport. His name is Lorenzo Carter, and I keep telling him, do it, do the sport, and he is not having it. But I would love to see him do it. There's three of us, kind of left that started training together under the same coach at the same time, and kind of as the world turns here and things change. Me and one of those guys, we actually have taken over for our striking coach. He teaches the evening classes now. I teach the morning. And so we've kind of evolved together. And he actually also does bare knuckle boxing right now. So this third guy who started with us, we're like, come on, come do it with us, because it's like we're our own little club. We started together. We're still together. Come hang out with us. Like, so I would love to see that. Outside of that, bare knuckle's not for everybody. If you are a fantastic MMA fighter, that doesn't mean you're going to be good at bare knuckle. If you are terrible at MMA, you might find that you're good at bare knuckle. Like, it can go either way. I think the mental aspect is the biggest hurdle for people. And if they can't get over the idea of doing it, then they don't need to try it because they're going to get hurt. And that's just an unfortunate reality.
No, that's very true indeed. And that goes into the next question as well, of like, if you have any advice for anybody who may be thinking of following in your footsteps and getting into the bare knuckle world.
Fighting is hard. Not the fight. Getting ready for fights is hard. It takes time and dedication and a level of drive that if you don't have it, you're not going to do well. But if you have all of those things, try it. Try new stuff. Take a fight. If you don't like it, what's the worst that happens? You don't like it. Maybe you get a little hurt. Maybe you lose. With bare knuckle, the injuries you sustain aren't quite like other fights. The odds of you breaking a bone, it's not likely. Now, I say that, and the first thing I thought of was Segala's fight here recently when the entire world got to watch her ankle snap, and it was awful. So I guess you can break bones doing bare knuckle, but it's not common. You're going to get cut. I got cut pretty badly in my last bare knuckle fight, and I was healed up in about a week. You could barely see it. These injuries heal quickly. You're not taking concussion damage because people can't hit as hard because they'll break their hands if they do. So it's a different type of damage. If you have found maybe you don't take hits well, you don't like getting hit hard, try it. You might like it.
Yeah, no, good advice indeed. And I was going to ask about, because since it's bare knuckle and since it's like gloves, etc. as well,
right,
it can do a lot of damage to the head, can't it, as well, because it's not as protective maybe compared to when you got gloves on. But then again, as you said about hitting so hard, you can break more of your bones than doing damage to somebody's head. But either way, it can still do some damage to the head, can't it? And how do you maybe go about trying to protect as much as you can of your head, maybe for later life type thing as well, because of things
honestly with bare knuckle, I have found just post fight, I feel fine post fight. Obviously, I've got other things going on. Maybe I'm cut. Maybe my nose or my mouth. Maybe I've got some superficial injuries going on. But I can tell you from my very first MMA fight, I did not have a good weight cut. It didn't go well. And I got hit like right in the temple, and I felt it. After that fight, I was dizzy. I didn't feel right. I've never felt like that after a bare knuckle fight because you simply cannot hit hard enough to do that. The person throwing that punch, you can't hit someone along the forehead, along the temple. That's hard bone. You're gonna break your hand, and then you're not gonna be able to punch anymore.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt their hand before it hurts your head. And that, to me, like, that's a beautiful thing about bare knuckle. People who maybe you see them do MMA and they say they've got a glass chin. It might not be that they have a glass chin. Maybe getting them hit in the head rattles them and they don't do well. People who have been like that in MMA have crossed over to bare knuckle and they don't have that problem because that rattling aspect isn't there.
Yeah.
You can't, it's just, it's going to be very rare that someone can hit you with a bare fist hard enough to give you that same feeling that you get with those MMA gloves. I mean, you can hit someone hard in those MMA gloves. Your hand is protected.
That's very true. That's very true indeed. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And we got to say as well, before we let you go, we have been showing your graphic on the screen of where they can follow you on Instagram. It's right there on the screen. So go ahead, follow Jessica today. It's the official Instagram. She posts about her fights, upcoming appearances, upcoming, I guess, sponsorships, and whatever else she may post. But it's all on Instagram. Follow her today. She's got over 4,000 followers. So make sure you do follow her there. And it's hopefully get to 10,000 by the end of this year as well. We've got to see.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Way more than I do. But yeah, 4,000 incredible. And I hope the fight as well goes very well either way on April the 27th when BYB makes its debut kind of thing in California. That's going to be fantastic. And that's who Jessica is going to be facing. Dean is on your screen at the Costa Meza, and you can buy the tickets and whatnot on the screen as well. It's going to be a great night of fights, and I wonder as well if if Big Mo would make an appearance again in the future, because he's a very busy guy nowadays, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just go where they tell me and show up when I'm supposed to be there. Whoever's there, it's a surprise to me.
Fair enough. But no, it has been a pleasure having you on the show, and I hope you enjoyed appearing on my show, on my little tiny show.
I love talking to people.
Good.
I'm a talker. It's
good.
fun.
Yeah, you are a good talker. I was planning to go half an hour, but we got way over half an hour, so that's good because we have chemistry, and that's what I like about my guests. As long as we have good chemistry, we can go as long, and it'll just go like that. The time just flies by, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But I will say this: get your passport in the post. Yes. Get it in the post, and then you can fly over here in the future and be a part of a British event, because that's going to be top notch, and I think you will enjoy it even more than
I think I would have a lot of fun.
Yeah, most definitely. Not just because of the different location, but because the fans are more passionate or more engaging, and of course we are a drinking kind of country as well. We drink a lot of beer, so it'd be a rowdy night. Just to say that. That's Mike Goldberg. That's Mike Goldberg about his 4 a.m. Flight from Manchester down to London. He'll tell you all about it.
Oh no!
But if you enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure to give it a like here on YouTube. Share the video around. Tell more about Jessica Link. Tell her about why you should like her, why you should follow her, and hopefully become a new fan of hers as well. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell us about what you thought about the show, any questions you want to ask Jessica in the future, or anything like that. Leave it in the comments. And as well, if you're new around here, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Over 210 subscribers. We're growing slowly but surely. Slow and steady wins the race at the end of the day. So check it out there. And until the next episode drops, enjoy the rest of your Good Friday, wherever you are in the world, and have a great Easter.